Hello, Oracles. Happy Tesla earnings day. So excited this day is finally here. What information are we going to get tonight? Are we going to beat or are we going to miss earnings? Are we going to show earnings growth that we want to see? Are we going to get any new information? We just heard about the new semi factory and 4680 factories that are coming up over in Nevada. Are we going to get any more information on those or other new factories? We're going to dive into some of that in just a minute. All right, so jumping into the stock price pre market, we are down just over 1.5%. The entire market is doing a little bit of a sell off right now. So you'd think that with the news that we got yesterday about the factories for the 4680s and the semi, that the stock would be doing much better. So was this a buy the rumor, sell the news type of situation? But none of us really knew that this was even news. I truly don't know, but again, the entire market is selling off at the moment, so it might be unrelated. And then we've got the earnings today. So we did have a very nice run over the last week. So does this mean that we are going to be selling off after earnings, or is this just kind of a little bit of a bear trap before we get good earnings and then we take off after earnings and tomorrow? Again, nobody knows for sure. We will be finding out in less than 24 hours. Brian from My Tesla Weekend will be on today with us for our live streams. The first one will start at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The second one will start at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So you guys can join us tonight for those, and I will get those links out to you guys later today. And so we've got Tesla Karav sharing out the Q4 earnings estimates from those of us in the community. We have James Stevenson, I cannot underscore enough, coming in at the same that I'm at with $1.02. Rob from Tesla Podcast coming in at $1.12. Gary Black is $1.16. Troy Tesla is $1.18. Karav himself is at $1.23. Tesla Fan Metal is $1.24. Good So I'll Invest is at $1.34. And the Wall Street expectations are $1.12. Others chiming in down below. We have Warren Redlet coming in at $1.30. Curious Peggy coming in at $1.11. We've got some coming in much higher. Greg at $1.62. K Money at 98 cents. Six pack coming in at $1.17. We've got 69 cents and then $1.69 420. So we're having some fun with these numbers here, but who knows what the numbers are going to come in with tonight. I mean, at this point, we can only kind of guess. I would imagine we're going to be between that $1.05 to $1.25 range. If we come in below that range of $1.05, I think that we might see a bit of a sell-off. If we come over $1.25, I think we'll see a nice push up. There's obviously a lot of other factors involved here, and this really only pertains to the near term. You have to remember when it comes to earnings and how the stock price is going to move on earnings, it truly only affects the near term price movement. If for some reason we get some information coming out of these earnings that leads us to believe that long term this could affect those numbers, then we have to look at things from a fundamental level for long term investors. Otherwise, if we see this nice growth and we're still growing, that's the important part. If the company is still growing, and again, as we saw yesterday with all of that awesome fundamental news, the company's moving in the right direction. So even if the stock price right now does not reflect what the company is doing on a fundamental level, that to me is just a great sign to buy more. And now, Kiju Kim shared with me a video that someone else had put out, and I'll share that in the description below, going over what a fair value PE could be for Tesla. And they break down in their video, based upon how much growth a company could have, whether it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% growth year over year, and based upon that, what their fair value PE should be. And so they break down all of those numbers and explain it. And it shows that Tesla right now is definitely undervalued by about 10 points on the PE scale. So if we're down 10 points, there's a lot of cushion up that we should be pushing. Now, that was also based on some, I think, relatively conservative numbers that they had in there. So if Tesla grows even faster than this and they really get energy going as we are starting to see, they do solve FSD, that revenue stream starts coming in, that PE could jump up even higher just because of the fact that they will be having much higher growth year over year. So these are things that, I'm paying attention to when it comes to how the stock price is going to be moving over the long term, because as we start pushing long term, obviously the more growth Tesla is showing that they are going to be achieving, the higher that number is going to be. Because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, well, what is Tesla bringing in for profits on the bottom line? If Tesla is going to continue growing their profits 50% year over year for the next decade, then yeah, their PE ratio should be a lot higher because you need to factor all of that in because their EPS is then going to push up even higher. Therefore, the stock price will push up even higher. So, that for me is kind of what I pay attention to when I'm looking at the long term and I'm taking a look at where we are now in the charts and earnings. And then I factor that out long term down the road. So, yes, while earnings right now really are only going to affect the stock price in the near term, it's that growth that I am seeing on the bottom line that is going to show me how my long term investment is truly going to play out. And as I'm checking the last minute news here, I'm looking at it looks like there was an earthquake over in California. Looks like near the Malibu area. 4.2, it sounds like. Let me see. Yeah, 4.2 magnitude earthquake, 10 miles from Malibu Beach. So if anybody is out there, let me know if you guys are okay, if there's any issues. Hopefully, it's just one of those little tremors that doesn't really affect much. But you guys keep me posted on that one there to make sure that you guys are all safe. And here we've got Warren Redlick chiming in. We've got I predict Tesla's EPS of $1.30 for Q4, but I'm less confident about EPS for 2023. Price cuts will reduce EPS, COGS will fall as Texas and Berlin ramp, and commodity prices decline if sustained. I fully agree with that. Battery cell module tax credits will help, definitely. Volume growth will help as well. He's got a question of 2.2 million deliveries. My bare base case, and I'm not going to call it a bear case, but my, I guess, worst case base case is going to be 1.865 million. So I do think 2 million is achievable. Just really kind of depends on how Tesla works with the pricing and how the demand is pushing out there with all of that. So, again, if they are struggling with the deliveries for whatever reason this year due to recession or anything else, and they have to pull those demand levers and drop prices some more, that will in turn obviously affect EPS. So, I fully agree with Warren on all of this here. So, it sounds good. And then we'll see what Tesla comes in at for deliveries. And I saw this chart the other day and I wanted to share it with you guys. This is Tesla's production per factory. So, obviously, going forward here, production is ramping up significantly. We've got the semi that's going to be ramping up. Hopefully they do break that out. I know that was one of the questions that we had seen was, when they're going to be breaking out the different pieces of their company when it comes to megapacks and power walls, and then semis and Cybertrucks when those do come out, if we are going to be seeing a breakout of all of those. And so obviously looking at Shanghai really just taking off the charts here, going straight up. Fremont is starting to level off, but still growing as well. And we know that things are going on in Fremont that might actually increase production also. And then if you look at the bottom, we've got Texas and Berlin, just little babies on this chart. So think about what's going to happen with Tesla when they get Berlin and Texas to the point where even Fremont is. When they get to that point, it's going to be insane because at that point, we're going to have two new factories at the point where we have Berlin and Texas. That's just how this is going to go. It's going to probably be like a 2 to 3 year cycle where every 2 to 3 years, we're going to see this chart replay itself with just new colors and many more factories at the higher end of this scale. So exciting, exciting times coming to us in the future. And we will see how Tesla handles it all and gets all of these vehicles out. And then we see the semi and the Cybertruck. Very exciting times. So overall, I'm just really excited for tonight. As I said, if we do end up running up closer to that 150 level, I will probably end up selling out a few shares in my IRA. If we do run after earnings, I will put stops in for more. I am anticipating a pullback just because that's natural when you have stocks and the entire market moving up the way it has been. We will naturally see a sell off. Tesla has been kind of over recovering from the beatdown that it had been taking because it was underperforming the market. Now it's kind of rebalancing and outperforming the market to come back. But we've seen a nice push market wide. So again, it's healthy, and this is a good thing. It's healthy for there to be a little bit of a sell off to go on because, as we saw for the last 2 years, when you don't get sell offs, the longer you go, the worse that sell off is going to be. So it's nice to get a little bit of a run, a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a run, a little bit of a pullback. That is the ideal scenario and situation. So when we do get that next pullback, that is when I'll be looking to be adding more, and I'll just kind of monitor things from there. Again, I'm going to do a full gaps video at some point this week, just to break down all the gaps above and all the gaps below so that you guys can see where all of these gaps lie, because that does factor into where the stock could potentially be moving in the future. And again, gaps fill 9 out of 10 times, and there's quite a few gaps much higher than where we are right now, which is why I have that strong conviction that we will be getting back to those levels higher up. Got to remember some of the gaps that we just filled this past year were gaps that were there for over a year, and we still came down to fill those. So the gaps above us, for those of you who are concerned about whether we're going to be reaching all time highs or not, those gaps above us could be filling within the next year to year and a half. So it might take a little while, but I have a strong feeling we will be getting back to fill those gaps above us. So otherwise, that's all I've got for you guys today. Again, just awaiting tonight's earnings. Very excited to share that with all of you guys. We will see you on there. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Hit that like and notification bell, and we will see you in the next one.